Case psychological process in marketing management. Marketing environmental stimuli enter the customer consciousness, and a set of psychological process combined with certain customer characteristic to result in decisions, processes, and purchase decisions. The marketer's task is to understand what happened in the customer's consciousness between the arrival of the outside marketing stimuli and the ultimate purchase decisions. So, dito pumapasok ang kamalayan ng mamimili at set of psychological process, pinagsasama sa ilang partikular na katangian ng mamimili upang maresulta sa mga proseso ng pagpapasya at mga desisyon sa pagbili. So, they have a 4K psychological processes. 1 is motivations, 2 is perceptions, 3 is learning, and 4 is memory fundamentally influence consumer responses. Motivations. We all have many needs at any given time. Some needs are biogenic. They arise from psychological state of tensions, such as hunger, thirst, or discomfort. Another needs are psychogenic. They arise from psychological state of tensions, such as the needs for recognitions, esteem, or belonging. A needs becomes a motive when it is aroused to sufficient level of intensity to drive us to act. Motivations has both directions. We select one goal over another, and intensity, we pursue the goal with more or less vigor. So, motivations, dito naman pumapasok ang pangangailangan ng mambibili, yung pangunahing pangangailangan nila. Gaya ng sinabi dito, biogenic, such as hunger, thirst, or discomfort. Another needs are psychogenic, such as recognitions, esteem, or belonging. We have 3 motivation theories, which is Sigmund Freud theory, Abraham Maslow theory, and Friedrich Herzberg theory. Freud theory, introduced by Sigmund Freud. This theory assumed that there are psychological forces which shape people behavior, but people are highly unconscious about the motivations. So, merong technique ang marketer para malaman ang mga kagustuhan ng customer, which is laddering. Laddering is a research technique which seek by people buy and use product and services. Marketing can find out which figure is important to user, and then the message and appeal is developed. Motivation research, which is qualitative research used to know the customer subconscious motivations. This research include in-depth interviews and projective techniques, sentence completions, word associations, role play, and picture interpretations. So, ang motivation research na isang qualitative research ay ginagamit para malaman ang subconscious na motivations ng customer. Kasama sa pananaliksik na ito ang malalim na panayam at projective techniques. Sentence completions, manggagaling yun sa mga customer like a feedback to improve pa yung product na binibili nila. Word associations, ito yung paano mo ipapakilala ang branch mo sa mga customer. Role play, ito naman yung brand name o product name o certain situations giving to the person and they will role play. Picture interpretations, ito yung ini-introduce nilang pictures o image ng product nila to describe it at kung ito ba ay papatok sa paningin ng customer. Maslow's needs hierarchy. Introduced by Abraham Maslow, it said that people are driven by particular needs at a particular time. So, means particular state of life you need to proliferate. Once needs achieved, once needs proliferate, then go to the next one. Human needs are arranged in hierarchy which has 5 levels. People satisfy their most important needs first and then move to the next, like what I say. So, ito yung pyramid na ginawa ni Abraham Maslow. For every needs of customer and the person of individual. So, He said that human needs are arranged in hierarchy from most to less pressing, which is psychological needs like food, water, shelter, and last is 5. Self-actualization needs, which is self-development and realizations. So, like what I said, particular state of life, you need to proliferate one's needs achieved. One's needs proliferate, then go to the next ones. So, last is Herbridge theory. Herbridge theory, introduced by Friedrich Herbridge. This state the two-factor theory, which includes satisfier, factor that cause satisfactions, and dissatisfier, factors that cause dissatisfactions, which motivates or demotivates respectively a customer to buy the product. First is satisfier, factors that cause satisfaction, gaya nga ng sinabi ko kanina, like ease of use, efficiency. Ito naman yung na-achieve mo yung expectation mo sa isang product. Next is dissatisfier, factor that cause dissatisfactions, no product warranty or poor service. Herbridge theory has two implications. First, sellers should do their best to avoid dissatisfiers. For example, a poor training manual or a poor service policy. Although these things will not sell a product, they might easily unsell. Second is, the seller should identify the major of satisfiers or motivations of purchase in the market and then supply them.
So the next psychological process is perception. So in marketing, perception are more important than reality because they affect consumers' actual behavior. Perception means the interpretation of something which a person keeps in his mind. A process by which a consumer select, organize, and interpret any information to create a meaningful picture of the world. So perception varies from person to person. For example, the fast-talking salesperson. People have different perception. Like in this example, the fast-talking salesperson, some of the people think that this salesperson is very intelligent and knowledgeable, and some people think this salesperson is aggressive and insincere and cannot actually understand what he or she want to say. Each will respond to the salesperson differently. Consumers perceive information from their senses like smell, touch, vision, taste, and hear, which is called as sensory marketing. So there are three selective perception mechanisms through which consumers can create different perception for a same thing. So people emerge with different perceptions of the same object because of three perpetual processes. First is the selective attention, second is the selective distortion, the third is the selective retention. So let's first tackle about the selective attention. So selective attention means the tendency of a person to screen out the information whatever he is receiving from the society. So that screening of information is based on his perception. The tendency of people to screen out most of the information to which they are exposed. For example, people get exposed to 1,500 ads and messages every day, so they cannot remember all of them. That's why marketers need to work hard to get the attraction or the attention of the customers. The second one is the selective distortion. Selective distortion means whatever the message you are receiving on your ears, you will interpret that message as per your attitude and beliefs. To interpret the information in a way that support what one already believes, this is called as distortion, the messenger distorted. The information get distorted due to preconception or past experiences. Example is the blind taste test. For example is the pickle manufacturing company. It is presenting two kinds of packing of pickles in front of the customers. Both belongs to the same company and both are the same kind of products. But one packing is having a brand name and the other packing is not having a brand name. And then there are participants asked to taste the pickles, and then it was observed that the group of people who have tasted the packing which not having any kind of brand name have generated different kind of feedback, and the group of people which has tasted the packing which having a brand name has generated some other kind of feedback. So the perception which is not related to the brand name is somewhere in the mind of the customers or the group of the participants. And the perception has influenced the people to generate that. So for strong brand, selective distortion is increased by the consumer and distorting the information in their favor to make it more positive. You might have seen many persons in your surroundings who promote a brand deliberately, even if the brand is not appropriate for all the people, but they keep promoting it. And how they promote? They promote by distorting the message conveyed by the company. So let's proceed to the third perception mechanism, the selective retention. Selective retention, this is a human tendency. When a brand that you like the most is presented in front of you and the other brand which you do not like is also presented in front of you, then whatever the information is conveyed from your favorite brand will be retained by you naturally, and whatever the good points which are conveyed from the competing brand will not be remembered by you because you get biased with your favorite brand. So when consumers are likely to remember good points about a brand and forget good points made about competing brand. For strong brands to increase selective retention, marketers use repetition to avoid overlooking of their messages. For example, if a brand is very strong in market like Samsung, the advertiser will repeat the message about their product to help the customers to retain those message in their mind. So we are done discussing the three selective perception mechanism. So let's proceed to the subliminal perception. So subliminal perception, it is a kind of perception which is influencing you subconsciously, means when you are not aware. It is a perception that influences your mind while you are unaware of it. While in selective attention, selective distortion, and selective retention, your awareness of mind is very important. But in subliminal perception, even if you are unaware, perception can be created. So, as I have said, unlike the three selective perception mechanism, consumers' alertness is not needed in subliminal perception. So the next psychological processes that I will going to discuss is learning. So whatever the changes comes in your behavior to your past experiences is called learning. Changes in behavior arising from experience is called as learning. Learning is produced through the interplay of drives, stimuli, cues, responses, and reinforcement. An internal stimuli becomes a drive when supported by action. Cues are minor stimuli that determines when, where, and how the person responds. Cues are some minor stimuli which changes your behavior to buy a particular product. Then if the responses of a product are good, then they get reinforced in the consumer's mind. For example, if you need a laptop, that would be your internal stimulus that you need a laptop. Means it is a very natural thing and it is a very essential state that you need a laptop. That need is not intensified yet, and by the time when it get intensified, that becomes your motive. And then if you are taking some action for this stimulus, it becomes your drive. For example, if you are searching online about what kind of laptop are available in the market and also watching TV ads, and you are focusing on finding a laptop. So your internal stimulus becomes your drive because you are performing some action for it. And then if your experience of buying a Dell laptop is rewarding, then your response to the laptop will be positively reinforced. If you experience buy a laptop, then if the response of the product are good, then they get reinforced in the consumer's mind.
Emotions, customer response is not all cognitive and rational. Much may be emotional and evoke different kinds of feelings. A brand or product may make a customer feel proud, excited, or confident. An ad may create feelings, amusement, disguise, or wonder. Brands like Hallmark, McDonald's, and Coca-Cola have made unemotional connections with loyal customers. For a year, marketers are increasingly recognizing the power of emotional appeals, especially if these are rooted in some of functional or rational aspect of the brand. So, emotional marketing is a way of taking advantage of this reaction of these emotions. Brand and companies are taking advantage of this way you feel about something in order for you to forecast what they have to offer. Memory. Psychologists define memory as the capacity to record, retain, and retrieve information. We have two memory, which is short-term memory, or what we call STM, a temporary and limited repository of informations. Next is long-term memory, or what we call LTM, a more permanent, essentially unlimited repository. All the information and experience we encounter as we go through life can end up in our long-term memory. Memory process. Memory is a very constructive process because we don't remember information and events completely and accurately. Often, we remember hits and pieces and fill in the rest based on whatever else we know. Memory encoding describes how and where information gets into memory. The strength of the resulting associations depends on how much we process the information at encoding, how much we think about it, for instance, and in what way. Memory retrieval. Memory retrieval is the way information gets out of memory. Three facts are important about memory retrieval. First is the presence of other product information in memory can produce interference effect and cause us to either overlook or confuse new data. One marketing challenge in category grounded with many competitors, for example, airlines, financial services, and insurance company, is that consumers may mix up brands. Second is the time between exposures to information and encoder has been shown generally to produce only gradual decay. Cognitive psychologists believe memory is extremely durable. So once information becomes stored in memory, its rate of associations decays very slowly. Third is information may be available in memory but not be accessible for recall without the proper retrieval. Cues is one reason marketing inside a supermarket or any retail store is so critical. Actual product packaging, the use of in-store mini billboard displays, and so on. The information they contain and the reminders they provide as advertising or other information already conveyed outside the store will be prime determinants of customers' decisions made.